All right, all right. Good evening, everyone. Aliii here, December 11, 2025, a day after Federal Reserve meeting. And here is the S&P 500. We got pretty wacky day. Market went all the way down to the lower low compared to yesterday. And it's kind of like getting scary because everyone is saying, okay, the correction is coming and we're just getting back to the downside. But market hiking up nicely. Look at the candle here going all the way up and pretty close to new all-time high. We're kind of like getting close to new all-time high. Actually, this is new closing all-time high, but not new all-time high. So almost double top here and future market gap down here. Let me just go to 4 hours chart. You see that market is just going all the way down to this area, to this pivot, which is going to be October 10 pivot. And then boom, getting back to the upside and market just going all the way up to 6,900. And this 6,900 is a pretty interesting level because I would say we can go all the way up to 7,000 or 725, 730, as I expected before. That's going to be the level that I'm looking at, a minimum kind of like the upside target. But we can get back to, again, correction after that and then getting back to the upside again. So market is getting into a Santa Claus rally. So we should see a 2-3 days correction could be just the minimal correction for another rally with a weekly bull trend. So just to stay tuned for that one. Nasdaq is the same. Nasdaq finally got above this level, which is this area 25,757, which is this top. Right now we got this nice hammer candle going all the way up, and future market gap down. I would say this is just a gap down, and we may see gap filling to the upside again. So as long as we are below this pivotal point, let me just show you here this pivot that I'm saying at. So here is the wide range bar, 26,000, let's say 6,000 area. So if we get above this 26,000 area, then we can see a market is getting back to the upside potentially for a new all-time high. Right now, you see that market is kind of like a diverging from Nasdaq to Russell 2000 and heavy tech heavy value names like a Dow Jones Industrial. They had a nice uh, candles today all the way up to the upside. We will get to those ones as well. But you see that a market is just flowing out from the technology going into heavy value names, and also small caps are doing good today as well. But I would say today, based on the candles, semiconductors potentially they finish their correction and they're getting back to the upside. All across the market is getting into Santa Claus rally phase. Dow, you see that even in future market, Dow is positive while S&P 500 and Nasdaq is negative. Dow is positive. Dow hits new all-time high today, and even in future market, we got back to new all-time high. So 48,800 right now, and we may see potentially it's gonna go again higher. So Dow is leading, and Russell 2000 is leading as well. If you go to Russell chart, you see that Russell is hitting the all-time high. Russell actually hit the all-time high yesterday, today confirmed, and right now future market 2600 right now. So Russell is leading, Dow is following, and Nasdaq is kind of like the laggard among the four main stocks, which is concerning just because of the heavy heavy techs are correcting right now. All right, moving on to move gold. Gold is showing strength today, but I would say this is a corrective rally. Still, I'm not in that camp that gold can get a new all-time high while we are in weekly bear trend. So this is a corrective rally, and we should see some kind of like a going down again. But it's very frustrating. It's getting into complex scenario. So as long as we are below this top, October top, we should give it as like a corrective rally. But if it goes above October top, so this correction is kind of like over, and then we may see some kind of like a correction after that, but we are not going to take out this October low. So we will see how it goes with gold, silver at the same time going to new all-time high again. So silver is pretty strong Right now, future market negative, but again, London session is not open yet, so a New York session will open tomorrow for a weekly candle tomorrow, and that's going to be very important. But I would say silver is in a kind of like a last phase of the parabolic move to the upside, and we should see a correction is coming with silver. But silver, a marvelous move, to be honest. I saw like at the beginning of this year, silver going to $40 to $44. Everyone was saying like, Addy, what are you saying? What are you talking about? Because we were in months of like even let me go to here is the January. Here is the January. We were here and I was talking about 40 to 44. And look, where are we? So silver almost got doubled the price to 63. That's marvelous move, to be honest, for a commodity like a silver. Moving on to crude. Crude is forming a pretty kind of like a very wacky consolidation, and we got kind of like a very a red candle all the way down to this 57. So as long as we are above this October low, we should say weekly low is completed, but we don't see any signal for crude. So we need to see signal from crude to going above 62, because as long as we are below 62, well, we can't give a crude any benefit of doubt for a rally to the upside. So we will see how it goes with crude, but crude needs to get above 62 for a bullish candle. If it gets below this 57, ideally 55, then we should see this is a corrective rally and we should see more acceleration to the downside. So we will see how it goes. It's not on my book yet. So any bullish or bearish scenario, it depends on these two pivots. So I'm kind of like a holding for crude right now to see where is going based on the pattern. But right now, I would say I thought that weekly low is completed. Still looking for weekly low is completed, but we didn't get any bullish signal above $62. So that's why I'm kind of like pausing now for crude for any bearish or bullish, kind of like a reading for the market. Wait and see how it reacts based on the chart. All right, so here is Bitcoin chart. Let me share the Bitcoin here. As you see here, Bitcoin is forming a consolidation. We got kind of like a 2-3 days correction within this 92, 93,000, but that would be a weekly bull trend. And here is the weekly low, and we got pretty nice higher lows here. We need to get above this 95,000. As soon as we get above this 95,000, we are going to tackle to this area, 100,000, 102, and even it can stretch out to 105,000 for a next corrective move for a final rally potentially to 115,000 area, which would be a weekly high. And this weekly high, I assume that it's going to happen in 2026, January, somehow next year, and then getting back to the bearish momentum for a resumption to the bear trend. So as I said, I don't see any kind of like a rally for Bitcoin for a new all-time high. We're just waiting for this and then form the weekly high and then getting back to the downside. Moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum is the same. We got a kind of like a 2 days correction. And this is a very normal when we get above this higher high. And we should see some kind of like this 2-3 days correction is getting back to the upside again to tackle this area, which is going to be 3,600. And this 3,600, it's like the same pattern like Bitcoin. We may see potentially a week or couple days correction, bull flag, sideways down to tackle to this area, which is going to be 4,000 area, and that would be, as I said, a maximum a target for me for a first month, potentially January, maybe first or second week of February, and then that's going to be a weekly high, and this weekly high is going to follow by a corrective or resumption to the bear trend to the downside to lose its value again. All right, moving on to US bond yield. Bond yield after yesterday crashed today. We finally like a bottom. I'm kind of like a see potentially a sideways to down for bond yield, but bond yield hold pretty well, to be honest. The market is kind of like uh, betting a price now for maintaining the rate in January, which is a bullish for the bond yield. TLT at the same time gapped up pretty nicely, but again, TLT actually didn't go anywhere. So it's kind of like a going down again, closed negative today, $88. But I would say TLT can have like a weekly low here, and we should see couple weeks or multi-weeks rally to the upside. That's going to be a corrective rally within the bond. And I assume that again, potentially February, March, we are going to get back to the downside for the bond market. Dixie at the same time going down today. This is a future market, but Dixie just a crashing to the downside, 98.36. VIX at the same time going down. You saw that VIX gapped up, but when I saw that like at the middle of the day, VIX is changing from green to red when market was red. So this means there is no fear and VIX is going to go lower. I believe that VIX can go lower to 12 area potentially for a monthly low. That would be a great area for a spike for a VIX, which is going to be stock market top. Apple at the same time, just forming a pretty nice low here correction. Amazon at the same time, bearish Harami, but this is going to be a consolidation with a bull trend. Meta, I believe this correction is finished with the daily top and daily low here potentially. Still, we can tackle to the 690, 700 area. Microsoft getting back to the upside nicely today. So this is kind of like a choppy consolidation with this weekly low. Microsoft, the next target is going to be 508. So if we get above this 500 area, we can go back all the way to 508. After that, it's going to be a triple top here. Google at the same time forming a pretty nice bullish consolidation, and I believe that new all-time high is coming, potentially 350. Netflix are going to my buy area, to my bigger buying area, which is 81 to 94. And today we just got a reaction from Netflix today, 94 jump up today after very bad negative days. Netflix, we got a kind of like a bullish Harami today. Tesla at the same time forming a bullish consolidation. We're going higher. Taiwan Semiconductor, the index is pretty good. You see that the index is pretty close to new all-time high. Stocks the same here. But look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA just had like a very choppy day, going all the way down, but a nice hammer though. So I would say NVIDIA still holding up above this 177 for another rally potentially to 195. And that would be potentially, if we get above 195, end of the correction for NVIDIA. Can we go to new all-time high? Could. We could, but it's going to be a hard time for NVIDIA because there are lots of resistance here in NVIDIA. Moving on to AMD. AMD is the same. So we got a nice correction. Today we got the second higher low correction. And then we are getting ready potentially for another rally to 240, 250 area for AMD. Taiwan Semiconductor, we got a pretty nice a dip down correction after new all-time high yesterday. Actually, let me delete this because this is going to be a confusing. So as long as we are above this important critical point, which is 281, we should give Taiwan benefit of doubt for rally. Texas Instrument at the same time, bullish consolidation. I love this stock. This stock is doing great. And maybe in a video for 2026, middle of 2026, I'm going to talk about this stock a lot just because this is one of those important military AI stock in semiconductors that we may see some rally even next year for this because this is a very, very, I would say, sophisticated stock in military and semiconductor chips for military instruments. And Texas is doing great with AI technology. So it's going to another level for sure for military equipments. Moving on to Lam Research, going high, new closing all-time high today. A pretty nice rally for Lam Research. XLF, this is the sector that I was talking about, like a booster for Dow Jones. You see that we got a pretty nice rally today, new all-time high for banks. KBE, the same pattern. We got almost to this double top here. We got above this September high. And banks are doing great. The same for KRE regional banks, which a booster for Russell. And here's the JP Morgan. So we didn't get above, we didn't get below this important trend line here, and getting back to the upside. And JP Morgan 317 and and here's the Goldman. Goldman is pretty nice move to 911. What a number here. So new closing all-time high, and Bank of America going all the way up as well to 54.56, new closing all-time high. Moving on to the gold miners, GDX, new all-time high, bull flag, as I said before. This is pretty bullish, and gold miners are leading the gold price, which is neat. And this is kind of like a bullish for the gold market. AEM, the same here, bull flag, triggered today. And Newmont, new all-time high for Newmont, 99.42. Moving on to XLE, which is energy sector. Energy stocks are doing great. So despite crude price, energy is doing very well. And we should wait for this pattern. So let me just bring this arrow here. $49 could be a very feasible scenario. Exxon, the same here, 119.54. So this is going to be 123, 124 stock potentially in the new year or in January. Chevron at the same time, it's just you see that it's choppy consolidation, hanging around 150. Chevron is weak for these days. All right, folks, I believe I covered everything. If you like this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and have a good one. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.